to me, bureaucracy is one of those speed bumps to trying out stuff, understanding where things are getting gummed up, trying out something new, sharing those failures. But we're both fans of Amy Edmondson. Talk to us a bit about, and Arjurus, talk to us a bit about what does speed mean to you, and how do we not get to the folly side of speed, but the learning side of speed?
And speed, as I use it in the book, has a very, very specific definition. It's speed of iteration. How quickly can you do something, get it out there into the world, get valid feedback on it, take that feedback and get the next version of it out there. It's iteration, or it's cadence. And the geeks are obsessed about it. And again, one of the weird things I learned, cool things I learned writing the book, was that this geek mania for speed, I think we can trace it to exactly one point in time. I think we know the origin story. How many of us have heard of agile programming or agile methods for writing stuff? You know that we actually know the birth of that movement. There were 17 very frustrated computer programmers who were frustrated by all the things that we've been talking about. And they decided to get together in February of 2001 in Snowbird, Utah, at a ski resort, and see what they could do about it. So these 17, they're all guys, 17 guys showed up. And they said, look, we were we didn't have very high hopes. There were a lot of prickly egos in the room. But they said we all got together and we gelled because we realized that we shared a vision for how we could write software differently. And the old method was write down exactly what it needs to do, and then go off and try to write that software and then deliver it to the customer 2 years later, and everybody hates it and it's a massive failure. And what these 17 geeks said was, let's do something different. Let's continuously write software with the customer, and as quickly as we can say, is this what you want? Does this work? And they go yes or no. And then you go do it again on a very fast cadence. That's led to the birth of this agile movement, which has taken over the world of writing software for the geeks. But it's also, I think, spread to lots of other kinds of big, complicated project as well. And the way that the geeks organize them is, again, this very fast cycle, very iterative, very how quickly can we get valid feedback and incorporate that feedback. To me, it's a huge part of SpaceX's success. Elon and company are not afraid to blow up rockets. As long as they learned, that was a success. Now, no people on the rockets. You got to be super clear. But like NASA does not like blowing up rockets, and SpaceX loves blowing rockets up because that's how they learn. And again, their results indicate that something is really working well.
Obsessive mavericks. They're somehow obsessive about learning from each iteration. At the same time, not defensive. Make that make sense to me.
If your career tanks when your rocket blows up, you're not going to be willing to blow up a lot of rockets. If you see me get fired after a rocket blows up, you are not going to want to blow up rockets. And so this default of defensiveness, of conservatism, can take hold very, very quickly. And the geeks who I interviewed and who I learned from, they're aware of that and they fight back against it, and they don't want to fail. These are super ambitious people, but they realize that having a trial go wrong, or having something that you spend money on and put out into the market, having that go wrong, that is not actually failure. Over a longer term, if you learn from it, if the next thing you do will be better, and they are much more willing to fail and fail publicly and even celebrate failures than the companies that I grew up studying. I loved when Bezos said in one of his shareholder letters not too long ago, he said to the people who were investing in the company, I guarantee you, or he said, if we are not incubating multi-billion-dollar failures inside Amazon right now, we're not innovating enough. Because he said at the scale Amazon was at that time, that's the level of mistake we need to be making in order to learn and to not be too conservative. And I think that they have made a multi-billion-dollar mistake with Alexa and that whole program, especially in the era of generative AI. I hope that culture is strong enough that they don't consider that a failure. We can never do that again. I hope they still want to fail and move forward.